For more on this, let's bring in Mohammed Abu-Nimer. He's a professor of peace and conflict resolution at American University. He joins me now live from Washington. Professor, great to have you here with us on Tier 2 World. Certainly not the first time we are hearing from the U.S. president that a ceasefire deal is imminent, but is there something different this time around?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I think many of the indicators saying that Hamas and the Israeli delegations are talking and close to a ceasefire. And also the American convoy or American diplomats have stated several times that Israel is very close to accept that. And Hamas has been signaling throughout this week that they're ready also to sign a ceasefire. And I think the pressure of the European and the international governments as well, who have been fed up by the actions of Netanyahu's government in Gaza, are putting a pressure that the Israeli government, I believe, will have to submit to that.
But from the look of it, if you look at the wider picture right now, it doesn't seem that Israel has made any sort of major compromises, because Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip continue. Israel continues to block Palestinians from accessing some of the most basic necessities of life. Israel continues to attack medical facilities. Israel continues to attack the schools.
The conditions on the ground did not change. In fact, it's worsened. Not only kept in the same rate, more attacks, more weaponizing the food, the several hubs, as your reporter mentioned, weaponizing it, killing people who even come to ask for food. The mere humiliation of seeing people like cattle, for food is something that the Israeli government intentionally wanted to convey that as a sign of victory and sign of dependency of the Palestinian starving, Gazan starving as well. So I don't think there was any military relief so far, but that's what the ceasefire is about. It's about the commitment of the Israeli and the American government guaranteeing, which what Hamas has been asking for, to guarantee the enforcement of the ceasefire and to stop any offensive attack of Israel immediately once the ceasefire is declared. The question whether the American Witkoff and the American administration will be strong enough to put a pressure on the Israeli government now to actually accept the ceasefire and publicly commit to it. That's, I think, what we are waiting for within the 24 or 48 hours. And I hope this will take place, because the images of the starvation of Gaza and 2.4 million people in need for food is not something that anyone
Indeed,
wants
Professor,
to see.
as you were talking, we are playing those very pictures on our screens right now, people trying to get access to food. And I mean, it's just tragic. I mean, words cannot really describe the tragedy that we are seeing unfolding in front of our eyes. Now, when we talk about the ceasefire, why is it that every time there's an effort for a temporary ceasefire? What would it take for the international community to come together, particularly the United States, to do something about ensuring a lasting peace in the region? Because, as I understand, even this ceasefire, which the U.S. president says is imminent, is going to be a temporary one.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the failure of the so-called international community to really enforce a permanent ceasefire and to do a sustainable agreement that will put an end to the war. And that's practically because it's very difficult to expect the U.S., who have provided 947 shipment of weapons since the beginning of this war to Israel, almost two shipments a day, and also have the German and the British and other European government continue to support Israel militarily and security as well. It's very hard for such governments also to implement, put a pressure on Israel and force Netanyahu to agree to the ceasefire. Netanyahu and his government have one objective, and unfortunately, the U.S. government, as well as the European government, and even some other Arab countries, have not yet put enough pressure to let go of the dream to evacuate, expel Gazan out of their land there, and help the Israeli government achieve its messianic greater land of Israel, which I think the ideological and theological war that they are launching on Gaza, it's really beyond the destruction of Hamas. We know that Hamas military capacity have been literally reduced dramatically, and they don't really, as many Israeli commanders and military experts have said, the war in Gaza is no more about military objectives, and even it's not to bring the hostages back. It's just to save Netanyahu's political fate or destiny from his corruption cases.
Professor Mohammed Abu-Nimer, thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.